Welcome, everyone. It's Thursday. Is it? Oh, yes, it is. It sure is Thursday. Count it all joy. Today, this lesson is a reminder because sometimes y'all think that, oh, sometimes I may not know what I'm talking about, or some people, some people think that I'm living on the mountain, and I'm like, no. I keep telling you, I walk right here with you on a daily basis because every day you have to be vigilant. Let me tell you. So, I work part time. And the other day, it was really hard because I just don't even know sometimes how they schedule. I just don't even know. And I'm like, dude, you need an extra person so we can get the tasks that you have assigned us to be completed. So I suggested this. You know me. I suggested it. And I had come home that night absolutely exhausted because I'd worked so hard physically. Yeah. And so as I was laying in bed, I was like, oh, I need a break. Like, can't we just have something easier? Like, gosh, that's what I said. So I get to work last night and my tasks had been changed. I didn't know that until I got there. Yeah. And immediately, this is why you have to stay vigilant with your thoughts and your moods. Immediately, I felt attacked. I felt like, how dare you? Why would you do this to me? Why would you change my tasks? And knowing that there's product in the back that has to go out on the floor, but you haven't assigned me that task. I felt slighted. Let me tell you something. I felt, this is funny. I felt little. I'll tell you why that word matters. I felt insignificant. I felt like, how could he come along as a store manager and treat me this way? My heart started to race. I got so angry on the inside, right? And I wanted to cry. I really, really did. Like my eyes were burning as I wanted to cry. I felt like I was being punished, right? And then partway through that, like an hour and some in, oh, it just I heard my name. Angela, didn't you ask for a break? I was like, oh my God, I did. I did ask for a break. I wanted some reprieve. So instead of slinging stock, he had me doing labels. Labels. And so I'm listening to this inner conversation. I'm listening to this voice say to me, you wanted a break. What are you doing? You're just walking up and down, putting out labels. Isn't that a break? And I was like, shut your mouth. It's true. It's true. And then I heard, don't judge. Because right in that moment, I felt so foolish. I felt so, Angela, really? This is how you're going to behave? You don't know any better? And that's when I told you, I heard, don't judge. You've already spent an hour in a mood you didn't want to be in. So don't judge and make it longer. What do you want to do from here? And I said, you know what? Next time, I want to be able to see this situation, see it for what it is, and see the good in it instead of feeling little and insignificant. I don't want to feel that way anymore. So I just want to recognize the situation so that I can see the good in it instead of going right away to, oh, look at you out here, been out of shape. Yeah. Aren't you supposed to be living the love? Right. And I said, okay, that's what I want. I want to be able to see the situation right there in that moment and see it for what it is. That a moment, a prayer was answered in that moment. And then my phone dinged. My phone dinged and I took it out and I looked at a message. Somebody said to me, Angela, I want you to know that I used to feel little and unheard, that nobody listened to me. But every day you remind me to practice. Every day you remind me to practice. And I'm beginning to notice that I'm being heard and I'm bolder. And now your girl is crying. I'm reading this message and I'm crying, y'all. Because was it a coincidence that they messaged me? No. That's why the word little, because that's exactly how I was feeling. That's exactly the word they used. And I was like, and as I was reading it, I hear, now you remember why we stay vigilant. And this is why I tell you guys, nobody is immune to life. We go out there and we live and we encounter situations. And when we forget what the heck we are, we stumble. Right? And the reason we count it all joy is because I vividly remember, after I was reminded, that I was the one who lay here, totally exhausted on Tuesday night, saying, ugh, I need a break, man. Like, I can't work hard like this all the time. I need a break. Wednesday comes, I get the break, but I don't see the break. I didn't see the break because I was busy judging the situation. When I tell you that judging blinds the eye and deafens the ear, y'all think I'm kidding? No, it blinds the eye and it deafens the ear so that you cannot see the thing that is right before you that you just said you wanted. And so the reason why I'm telling you that story is because of the person who messaged me to say that they're seeing the changes in their own lives. They're seeing the change in their own lives. I see the changes in my life too. Right? But the whole point today is The reason why you count it all joy, especially when it looks like it's against you, especially when it looks and it feels like, oh my God, I'm being punished. See that part, that judgment right there? And I heard my name as clear as day. Angela, didn't you ask for a break? And that voice was so gentle. Listen, it wasn't even making fun. It just said, didn't you ask for a break? And as soon as I heard that question, I was like, oh snap. I did too. I did. And I have it, don't I? And right in that moment, I was reminded, don't feel bad. Don't judge yourself for your stumble. Get up. How do you want to proceed from here for whatever experience you have to deal with? And I said, you know what? Then I want that I see it for what it actually is. Because sometimes, as I said, we may feel as though, oh my God, the world is against me. And sometimes there's no place that you feel it more vividly than at work. You know, sometimes it's where you feel it the most, or with family or whatever, like those things that are really close to you. So we count it all joy. Why do we count it all joy? Because when things get a little rough, when things get a little turbulent. The other day, this hymn came back to mind. When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, Lord, thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul, it is well with my soul, it is well with my soul. See that hymn took me all the way back to my Afro puff days as a little Boombird girl singing in church. But do you know why it is well with your soul? Because you know how to apply the principles on a daily basis. That is why it is well with your soul. That is why you can count it all joy. Especially then we begin to forget. Because when you turn around, oh, there's this, oh, there's that, because you're busy living. But remember, we don't get so busy living that we allow ourselves to be tossed to and fro. If we can remember in the back of our minds that it is always well with us, we will count it all joy because we know. God, don't make me pull out Bill and Gloria Gaither for you today. Because he lives, I can face tomorrow. Because he lives, all fear is gone. Why? People think you're singing about God. You think you're singing about Jesus. Flip it. You're singing about the law. Because you know the law, you don't have a reason to be afraid. You don't have a reason to rock in the corner because you know the law. You can count it all joy. You can say it is well with my soul because you know the law, but better yet, you know how to apply. the law. And how you're going to know that you're changing is when what used to take you an hour to recognize takes you a minute to recognize, and you can snap out of it before it pulls you into a spiral. And I remember the times when I used to go for days and days just fixating on a problem and complaining and bitching and moaning. I remember those days. So I'm pretty happy that, whoo, an hour, girl, you making progress. Because when you hear your name come out of the stillness, when you hear your name come out of the stillness and you hear it, Angela, or you hit Janine, what are you doing? Is this how you gonna behave? You know what happens from here. And it nudges you. It says, Big Mike, what are you doing? Come on. Which principle are you going to use? Are you going to use correspondence? Are you going to use cause and effect? Come on, let's put it to use. You hear your name out of the stillness, KZ. And when you hear your name, it does not browbeat you. It is ever so gentle, ever so soothing. Such a gentle reminder. And it says, I got you. I have you. He got the whole world in his hands. Hymns mean something different when you know the principles. I will never leave you nor forsake you. And in that moment of your greatest need, when your spirit is crying out and you're like, why, Lord? And you want to complain and you are complaining, you will be gently reminded to apply the principles. So you see, we count it all joy because it is well with our soul. Why is it well with you? Because not only do you know the principles, but you know how to apply the principles. And your principles, I just had an image flash into my mind like a grappling hook. You feel like you're at the bottom, right? Technically speaking, you're at the bottom of this chasm and you're like, oh, how am I going to get out? And then all of a sudden you're like Batman. You put your hand up and there goes your grappling hook and it attaches and it just whisks you right up out of the darkness. What do you think that thing is that whisks you right up out of the darkest place? The principles. They are a comfort to us. What do you mean they're a comfort to us, Angela? Mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. It is telling you you always know who you are. You always know who you are. That is your anchor. That is your rock. That is your foundation. You know that you are. And what you say you are, you will do. A correspondence. That's within, so without. And it tells you you're always moving. You're always moving. You can't stand still. And you're moving from where you are to where you say you're going. And it is always the same. It is always the same. Polarity does not mean duality because there isn't duality. There's one single thing. And it is moving. And it moves in this fashion. You reap what you've sown. So you're moving from seed through the stages of sapling, sprout, blossom, fruit. That is polarity, moving you through the stages from where you are to where you're going. And the way that thing moves, that rhythm, the ebb and the flow will tell you what you are, because it must always compensate. Rhythm always compensates. And how does rhythm compensate? Well, the intensity of what you feel inside is the intensity by which you experience the thing on the outside. They always have to match, as within, so without. They must always match. That's why rhythm compensates. And from that rhythm, now every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. You do this, you bring about that effect. And it's never a surprise. You don't plant mangoes and be surprised when tomatoes grow. You'd be like, wait, what? What's this madness? I planted mangoes. I can only get mangoes. As within the seed, so must the fruit on the outside be. So if we spend this time wallowing, see that seed? What kind of fruit are you going to get? So you catch yourself. You say, whoa, whoa, what am I doing? It is well with me. Flip this mood. What are we doing? And you change the mood. Mood also means perspective. Well, of course, because if you feel like things are against you, if you think like things aren't going your way, see that perspective? What do you think you will behave like now? From that perspective. Well, why would you try anything? Because the world is against you, so what's the point? But all you get reminded to do is change that perspective. And how do you change that perspective? You remind yourself that, wait a minute, how do I want this situation to go? How do I want this situation to go? How do I want this situation to turn out? How do I want to feel? And then you start feeling the way you want to feel. Ta-da, you've changed your perspective. And once you've changed the perspective and that mood changes, what do you think shows up on the outside? Listen, I keep telling you it happens in an instant, you know. You're gonna love it in an instant. That's a commercial. I don't remember which one, but I know that's the tagline for it. It really does happen in that instant when you change the perspective. And here I was asking for a break, and I get a break, and I'm like, ah. So you see, my beautiful friends, we live every moment of the day. But here's what is so beautiful about this. You only start that way. But the more you practice, now it becomes a habit for you to live in a particular mental mood, to live in a particular perspective, so that you habitually go there. So that now you don't have to watch yourself all the time, but you've conditioned yourself to see, so that that's what you see. So now that's what you live. And when you do it, you're going to catch yourself. You go, wait a minute. I'm not complaining. I didn't complain. Wait, what? When did that happen? Like you could be surprised. It happened as a result of us practicing. So remember, you count it all joy, and it is well with you, because you know the law and how to apply it. We do not have to remain in an undesirable mental mood. We don't have to. And you see, if we would allow ourselves to be gentle with ourselves. Oh my God. If we would just allow that. But we're walking around with these invisible mental whips and we keep lashing ourselves. Oh, you suck. Oh, you're a failure. Oh, you didn't try hard enough. Oh, you should know better. Psst. Whipping ourselves. What's wrong with that picture? The law says you're not supposed to whip yourself. Well, I don't whip you. You're not supposed to whip yourself. Just change your perspective. So today, I trust that you will be much more gentle with yourself as you are living life. Oh, yes. Be gentle with yourself. Because remember, judging blinds the eye and deafens the ear. But you see, your what's that psalm? Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. It's the principles right there again. They are a comfort. And why do they comfort? Because you know how to change your mood. You know how to change your perspective. And when you change, as within, so without. And this is why you don't compare yourself to other people. Oh, but look at how much further ahead they are than me. Meanwhile, you're missing your own journey. We live every day. We practice every day. Remember that. And that's why I love hearing from each and every one of you. I do. Because it's like we're walking it together. It's like we're side by side. We're walking this thing together. We're walking life together. We're living it together. And that's why I told this person that they're such an inspiration. Because I remember my very first meeting with that person. And to watch and to be a part of their growth. And all they do is get up every day and apply. They stumble, they get up and they apply. Every single day. Remember that. You got to see where we've come from mentally. Mentally, for the longest time, we thought we were just these bodies. We thought we had to beg and grovel and do all these things just to make it. We used to think that way of ourselves. And that stuff is so ingrained in us. It is so ingrained within us. But we persist. We persist in our learning and our applying. Learn and apply. Learn and apply. Day in and day out. And you will see your progress. You'll see it. And that's why I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Right? So today, my beautiful friends, we get up and we practice. Oh, indeed we do. We get up and we practice, and we count it all joy. Yes, we do. It is well with us. So that when you sit down and you reflect and you place things back, you say, wait, yeah, I could handle this. I want to handle this kind of thing differently. I want to be more like this, because you can clearly see your present situation. And then you say, you know what? Yeah, I don't want to behave like that anymore. I don't like that behavior. We're going to swap that out and we're going to put this behavior in here. Because that behavior that you want to switch it to has a corresponding mental attitude. It does. So you start to practice that mental attitude, and you start practicing that mental attitude. You'll say, see, there's the behavior I was looking for. And you don't have to force anything. You don't have to force your change. Choose the effect, and the cause will emerge. And then you will have to act accordingly, because it will always match. Right? So don't fret, y'all. We live every day. Thereby we practice every day. Because your practice is not in vain. Your practice is not in vain at all. Because you'll sit there as you're rocking and knitting, and you'll say, I remember when. I remember that day when I had a total meltdown. That was 30 years ago. Look at me now. Shoot, you could say, oh, but that was last week. Look at me now. You see, Neville Goddard has that technique he calls I remember when. And in that technique, he says, you begin to talk to yourself. Oh, I remember when I used to. That statement implies that you no longer do it, that you're now living the life that you want to live. But that quote unquote technique, if you watch what it does, it polarizes you. It polarizes you from where you presently are in a mental mood to where you want to be in the new mental mood. It moves you from where you are to where you want to go. You have to plant a different seed altogether when you say, I remember when I used to. Because now you're telling yourself, shoot, I no longer do that. See, but we get caught up in techniques without comprehending, without understanding what they mean and what they do. Because then it's just a technique, right? But don't sweat the technique. We just think it's a technique, but it's not. Not if you apply the principles to it to understand it. You'll see why it is not a technique, but a way that you actually live. So you count it all joy. Why is it a joy? Because you can change on a dime. You can change your mental attitude on a dime. Do not pull an Angela and wait for an hour. Don't wait for an hour. Flip that bad boy. And if it takes you an hour and a half, 2 hours, you flipped it anyway. Just remember, we don't have to stay with an undesirable mood. You don't. Because they're not fun. They're not fun at all. So, I trust that you found today's message to be helpful to you as a gentle reminder to always be listening for your name. There's 2 names I can't say. Because if I say them, people's devices will act. You know those 2 names I'm talking about, right? Because I was at work and I said, because my boss, he will call my name. So I'm always listening. I'm always listening for him. He goes, Angela. I'm like, yes. So for me, when I'm listening for my inner voice and I hear my name, it's like I'm always listening for that. There's a reason why I just told you that. Because when you're tuned to listen for the inner voice, for your name, where are you turned? You're turned inward, are you not? Mm-hmm. You're turned inward. And now you can see clearly. You can hear clearly because you're not distracted by the world. So, who's here with us this morning? Because I don't want to keep you long. Who is here with us this morning? Well, Twitter's for the replay gang. You know how they are. Who's on Fanbase? We got my sweet KZ here. Oh, we got K in the house. 2 Ks today. And we got Big Mike in the house. I said your name yesterday, Big Mike. I sure did. Because as I go through the day, whenever I call your names, it's like I think about you guys as I go through the day. Some of you message me, and we correspond on a daily basis. You know? And Ray is in the house. Miss McQueen is in the house. Right? And I always say, I wonder how Miss McQueen is. I wonder how the better man is doing. I wonder how Big Mike is doing. You know, like these things. Like I call your names throughout the day. You know? So, thank you all for being here on this glorious Thursday. Glorious. It is a lovely Thursday. It truly is. And it's, I want to say strangely, but it's not strange. I'm just at peace this morning. Just at peace. That's just how I feel. Rested and at peace. Right? Like it really is such a comfort when you practice the principles. Because I can tell you exactly what mood I went to bed in last night. This one. And this is also why I tell you that gratitude is natural. It just comes from you. Because the moment I heard my name, all I could say was, thanks. Thanks for showing me so I can change. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate your guidance, man. Thanks for showing me what to do. Thanks for always being there. Thanks for guiding me. Thanks for never leaving me. All I could say, all I could say was, wow, thanks. I appreciate that. You know what it is to be watched over? And it's not from the outside that you're watched over from. It's from the inside. And it's always such a gentle nudge, you know? It's not like a slap upside the back of the head. It's just this gentle nudge. What's he doing? What are you doing? And you're like, oh, snap. Thanks. Thanks. And then you feel so grateful for the fact that you're well cared for. Loved and appreciated. That's what the principles do for you. Ah, that's what the principles do for you. Mm, yeah. It really is such a beautiful revelation. It's like it doesn't matter how much you see these things unfold in your life. These moments of awe are always going to be there because the principles are just spectacular. They just are. And when you begin to feel this, it shows up on your face, it shows up in your body chemistry. And people say, oh my God, you're so radiant, you're glowing. What's your secret? And when you live from a place of mental peace, you'd be surprised how lovely it is. And then you get to share that with somebody because you know people are nosy and they want to know, hey, what you doing? And then you get to make disciples of all men. What does that mean? You get to make disciples of all men. It means you say, oh, let me tell you. And you begin to share the principles with others. And then they say, that's not real. And then you tell them, you're looking at it. You're looking at it. And that's when you tell them, I'm here because you said, you asked me what I was doing, and I'm telling you what I'm doing. So you saw it. Why don't you test it out for yourself? See how you make disciples of all men? By living the law every single day. Count it all joy, my friends. Count it all joy. I love you all. And I thank you for just being here and spending this time with me and Rue and Lady and each other. Rue was already singing this morning. 4:30. Talking about I'm awake, and I'm like, now I am too, sir. Mm, yeah. Man, you know. Test it out. Test the law. Pay attention. Miss Deborah, I see you. So remember, we live every day, we encounter things every day, as within, so without. But you will always be reminded. You will always be reminded with that gentle hand. It says, I got you. Now, how do you want this to turn out? What do you want to feel like? Tell me how you want to feel. And then you repolarize yourself and you say, well, I would like to feel ... And the moment you acknowledge what you want to feel, well, you've changed. And how do you know you've changed? Because it will be accompanied by the corresponding feeling. And when you feel it, you say, oh, yeah, this is nice. This is exactly how I wanted to feel. And then what's the first thing that comes out of your mouth? Thanks. Thank you. Yeah. See that? You got it in the bag. You got it in the bag. Oh, yeah. So count it all joy. Whatever that situation is you're in today. How long have you been walking in that situation? Mm-hmm. See? It's only because you forgot. But the law is such a gentle reminder. The law is such a gentle reminder. Let it. Let the law remind you. See? Every day I tell you, as within, so without. Every day I tell you the principle of correspondence. So much so that when you hear that inner voice, it was you who spent the time in practice to cultivate that inner voice so that what? You could hear it as within, so without. And it nudges you from within so that you can change your external. I just want to roll around and kick my feet in the air. Really and truly, it's such an exciting thing. It is so exciting because we don't have to suffer, guys. We don't have to suffer in an undesirable mood. Ugh. Just sit with that today. Go out into this world today and count it joy. Because you are well cared for, well looked after, well loved. And when you know this, your whole perspective changes. And when your perspective changes, so too do your external experiences. Go forth today and know that. Know that. Countdown initiated. I ain't see Melly Mel. The better man. I'm looking at my YouTube because it's telling me 50 minutes. Yikes! 3, 2, 1. Much love to each and every single one of you. Remember, the law has you. Oh, indeed. Oh, yes. Front, back, up, down, what? And all around. The law has you. You can't turn to the left. You can't turn to the right without the law being right there. You can't look up or look down without having the law right there. You are loved and protected, guarded, guided, you name it. You name it. You know what? Let me stop. Anyway, I love you. And I will see you on the morrow, right here, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, fan base, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we will kick it with the law. Mm-hmm. 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 I swear some people think I'm nuts. But that's okay, these nuts. I'm okay. I tell you, hearing my name last night did something to me. I don't know. I mean, I hear my name all the time. But last night, just Angela. Say my name, say my name. You know what? It does. Man, when you know that you can change like this, like this, and like this, and like that, Anna, when you know that. Hmm. Oh, yeah. It does something to you. It does something to you. And it really is beautiful. So let us go forth and count it all joy. Mwah. Much love to you all. Much, much, much love, y'all.